Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A big thank you to each and every one of you for your continued support. And may God bless you for your efforts. Niko na homa. Sijui kama mahali huko kuna homa. I don't know where you are if there is flu. I have seen 3-5 people around me here. Ni marafiki tu. Flu. So I don't know if it's corona or what is happening. But then, imenipasua mdomo hapa. That's why I didn't want to embarrass myself on video. So tafadhali, muniwe radhi. Now, the international media, that is the BBC, CNN, the CNBC, the top US international media houses you can imagine of, is announcing the following. I want to read for you. Gautama Adani, the chair of India's Adani Group, and one of the world's richest people, was indicted with 7 other men in the New York federal courts on charges related to a massive bribery and fraud scheme, authorities said on Wednesday. You heard it. Let me repeat. Gautama Adani, chair of India's Adani Group, and one of the world's richest people, was indicted with 7 other men in New York federal courts on charges related to a massive bribery and fraud scheme. Put that in capital letters. A massive bribery and fraud scheme, authorities said on Wednesday. Adani and several other defendants are accused in the indictment of having paid Indian government officials more than $250 million in bribes to obtain solar energy supply contracts worth more than $2 billion in profits. Okay. Yeah. Skiza. I'm now getting the light. Adani and several other defendants are accused in the indictment, nataka usikiza hapo, of having paid Indian government officials, more than $250 million. Hey! Yani, walichukua $250 million wakalipa government officials ndio wapewe tender ya kufanya solar energy supply yenye ilikuwa na profit ya $2 billion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, niliwaambia I have a series of episodes in my gallery. I want you to take your time. Listen to this.
Raila Odinga has defended the Adani Group company, calling it a reputable firm and a credible partner in the JKIA transformation and energy sector deals. Odinga, who was speaking in Mombasa, however, cited lack of proper legal framework to implement the deal under the public-private partnership leasing agreement. He also raised concerns over the transparency of the agreement, urging the government to address all the concerns raised by Kenyans before its implementation. Now, this is the first time Odinga has weighed in on the matter, which has faced public condemnation and rejection, as NTV's Kevin Mutai now reports.
Raila Odinga's input on the Adani Holdings company dealings comes hot on the heels of a public outrage on the controversy surrounding the entity's agreement with the government. Odinga says Adani can sustainably address the country's infrastructural needs through a public-private partnership engagement, especially now that the country is grappling with a debt burden and a cash flow crisis.
You're likely to try to condemn very reputable companies. As we see stories like Adani Gate. Adani company conglomerate is worth over $200 billion. It cannot be an Adani Gate. Deal with issues as they are. If some people have made mistakes, let them own up that they made some mistakes. But do not begin to condemn innocent companies.
Odinga says Adani expressed interest in investing in Kenya back in 2010 after visiting India while he was the Prime Minister under the Grand Coalition government. He is now calling on President William Ruto to protect both the PPP's framework and the investors that show interest in putting money into the country's public services and utilities.
The PPP law we have today is a variation of the PPP laws of the Gujarat state that Prime Minister gave us in hard copy. Unfortunately, we adulterated what we borrowed from India and then ended up with a law that is not fulfilling the needs of the country or the expectations of the people.
Even as Adani signs a 96 billion shillings deal to build and operate 5 electricity projects in Kenya for 30 years, Odinga says the massive investor capital owned by the company dwarfs the capacity of 3 East Africa's major economies.
Ongoing energy and airport projects therefore present a critical test that could make or break our ability to compete in the field of infrastructure development for a considerable period. I urge all agencies concerned to address all the concerns raised by Kenyans on these projects and ensure that we do not spook foreign capital away from the Kenyan economy.
Raila called for transparency in the deals that says favor Kenya's needs.
Kenyans cannot be made to bear all risks in the PPP projects. Kenyans can guarantee break-even returns but never commercial profits. C, we must establish irreducible minimum terms in our PPEs, including the recognition of the jurisdiction of Kenyan courts, recognition of the application of the laws of Kenya, recognition of the terms and conditions of labor in Kenya, recognition of environmental protection.
A petition certified as urgent has been filed in High Court seeking to block Adani from implementing any PPP projects in Kenya. Kevin Mutai.
Ladies and gentlemen, having listened to that, kama Adani ili bribe Indian officials $250 million ili kupata tenda ya solar energy supply, how much did Raila receive as a bribe to defend and sanitize Adani? Musiseme napiga Raila vita. I'm asking questions as a Kenyan. Kama Adani ililipa Indian officials, hii ni ile sababu tunaita probability, $250 million ili wawakubalie, wawapatie tenda ya solar energy supply worth $2 billion. How much was William Ruto bribed to give Adani our JKIA and our power lines? If Adani bribed Indian officials $250 million to get a solar energy tender, how much did Opiyo Wandayi receive to endorse Adani to take over some power lines in Kenya. Kenya, you know, we are dealing with criminals. Kenyans, we are dealing with criminals. Lakini nyinyi mnaona what is happening in this country. We are dealing with criminals. Kenya, I'm asking you again. Are you really seeing the kind of minds in our leadership positions? The people we want to rescue this country. How much did Raila receive? Aende kwa media aseme Adani ni nzuri. Raila alilipwa pesa ngapi? Raila amelipwa milioni ngapi atetee Adani? Naulizeni swali wa Kenya, ni jibu tafadhali. Raila amelipwa pesa ngapi atetee Adani? Nauliza wa Kenya jamani, si kwa ubaya. Ni jibu. Raila Odinga, baba, umelipwa pesa ngapi na Adani ili ukuje kwa media kutetea wakora? How much were you paid? Anyway, nasikia roho yangu inapanda. I don't want to be too arrogant and too angry. Nasikia ni kama pressure inaenda juu. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next video. Asanteni sana.